Hey folks, welcome back to the shop. Frank here. I'm continuing to work on setting up my new metal lathe. This is a Precision Matthews 1440 GT, and I'll repeat what I said in the first episode. This is not a sponsored video in any way, shape, or form. I paid my own money for this. They don't have a clue what's going on. So you get, and that's the same, I've said it before, my channel, I don't take sponsorships or endorse products or anything like that. I do take care of my two German Shepherds. Brutus is right here. While you guys weren't paying attention, you must have fallen asleep or something. I put a on-off switch on the lathe. I'll show you that. You weren't looking. And now I'm getting ready to put the pads, foot pads, under the leveling screws in the base of the lathe. Again, I'm checking out my little puppy here. Oh, I got both of my boys here. That's Brutus. This is Butchie. They just have come in. It's evening. What is it? 7:30. So I spent most of the day working on the gardens. It's March 26th, I think, right? And so getting ready to get some stuff in the ground. Anyway, so I'm back in the shop this evening. Let's get the pads under the leveling screws on the lathe. I'm turning the screws so they stick below the base about 3/8 of an inch, which will put them in the pocket of the leveling pad. I had to pack the jack here because it wouldn't lift high enough. So just some squares of 3/8 inch steel. I believe I can lift the whole end of this with one jack. There we go. Oh, yeah, great. Okay. Actually, I want to loosen that a little bit because I want to move this out like that. So there's some tension on every foot at this point. All right, the next thing I want to do is center this chuck, and it has 4 screws, set screws, that can adjust the position of the chuck on the backing plate. So I'm going to go ahead and put a dial indicator on here and see if we can center the chuck. All right, something like this. Let's see. Okay, so it looks like we're off 10 or 12 thousandths. All right, so these set screws move the chuck toward the indicator. So you want to tighten them on a low spot. So that's a low spot. So that's high. Let's see if it's, yeah. All right, so loosen that just a bit. Tighten this one. Let's tighten this one. So there's a low one there. Loosen, this looks like it's a high one, so we'll loosen this one a bit. All right, So that's still a low one here. Let's see if we can tighten it a little bit more. Low there. High here. Let's see. Just a hair here. We're within 1/1000th or two. Let's see what we can do here. Yeah, I'm going to say that's pretty close. That's got to be within 1/2 thou. And of course, you couldn't see me adjusting. What I was doing was tightening and loosening these set screws on the chuck. There's 4 of them. I had you focused on the indicator and not on what I was doing. Okay, so that's good. Now let's chuck something, let's put something in the chuck and see what that looks like. I really don't have a good precision ground drill rod or anything, but I think we can use this end mill. Let's see if I can clamp it without hitting the flat. Let's see how that works. So I should be able to indicate off of this. Get you zoomed in here. All right, so you can see it's preloaded. Wow. I'm going to say that's 1/1000th. So that's as good as the chuck. So that says the jaws are concentric with the outside of the chuck. So I mean that's 1/2 thou. I like that. Okay, so that's all it is. It gives you really good accuracy for a 3-jaw chuck, which generally you don't expect that kind of accuracy. Okay, so that proves that shows, I think, that the jaws are concentric with the exterior of the chuck. So it gives me, what would we say the run out was? 1/2 thou. about. So that's pretty good. I think it's good enough for my needs. You could probably tweak it a little bit more and get it down to a couple of tenths maybe, but I'm not sure that's necessary. I may come back and do that at some point, but 5/10, half a thou is pretty close. So we're going to leave it like that. So here's the additional on-off switch that I installed. It's basically a double pole single throw switch. Just de-energizes both of the hot legs. The ground is passed through, connected inside. So it just allows me to de-energize everything on the lathe completely without unplugging it. Working on leveling the lathe now. This is a precision level. You can see the bubble is over here. This is the back of the lathe. This is the operator side, the front. So I need to raise the front up. And then if we turn it 90 degrees, it's not too far off left to right. So I need to raise this end up just a hair, the tailstock. So I'll do that. But let's get it front to back. And I need to check it at both ends, but I'm just kind of in the middle of the bed right now. We'll see if we can get it a little closer. And it's a matter of me going down and turning the screw, leveling screws. Wow, overshot that. Getting closer. Boy, very sensitive. All right, that's got me pretty close in the middle. Let's move down to the tailstock end. All right. Move down to the headstock. And I'm a little bit high here. Very close there. Let's go back to the tailstock. Whoa, very slight adjustments. All right, so that's, close. Let's see. It's such a small movement. Barely perceptible movement of the wrench handle. Like a 1/16 of an inch at the end of a foot-long wrench. A 1/16 of an inch movement of the handle of the wrench. At the end of, a foot away from the bolt, a 1/16 of an inch movement, or maybe even less than that. All right, here we are at the headstock. Whoa, 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 whoa. And it's pretty close, front to back. All right, let's check lengthwise again. Move the saddle. That's pretty far off that way. All right, so I need to adjust the headstock, raise the headstock up. I need to do it evenly. Trying to adjust front and back, both the same amount. So this is just an iterative process going back and forth, and I'm just taking another small turn on the left on the headstock front, small turn on the headstock back, getting close. Let's see where we are. This way. All right, the back has to come up. Now I've got it on a set of parallels, 1/4 inch thick parallels here to span the ways. I mean, they're not perfect. Let's see where I am front to back. Pretty good front to back there. Showing me a little high on the headstock that way. So here it's showing on the cross slide, it's showing the headstock a little high. Front to back, the front's a little bit high. So let's go down another hair. I'm going to say that's good enough. I mean, I could chase this all day long. All right, so what I'm doing now is running the lock nuts down. All right, I'm going to call that good. I'm off looks like a 1/10 there, but I don't think I can fix that. Just back and forth chasing it. Okay, I've been tweaking the leveling screws for half an hour at least, and I've got it within 1 division of level, and there's no twist. From the headstock end to the tailstock end, I get the same measurement. It's off 1 division, and that is the front 1 division higher than the back. And at both ends I get the same lengthwise measurement, and I'm again 1 division. That's 5/10,000ths in 10 inches is the scale. So 40 inches, so that's it's within 2/1000ths over the length of the lathe, which I think is pretty good. So I'm going to call that good enough. Snugged up the lock nuts for each leveling screw. So I think it's done. I don't know that it can get much better than that. I suppose I could mess around with it for another hour maybe and get it a little closer. I don't know there's any benefit to that. So at this point, it's so close to being level that I think I'm going to let it go where it is. I'd rather move on to aligning the tailstock. So let me get the alignment rod and we'll hook that up and see well, we're going to have to adjust it. I'm pretty sure we're going to have to adjust the tailstock to align it. So we'll do that. So in case anybody has any concerns about the level itself being accurate, the way to test that is to check it, turn it 180 degrees on the same surface in the same position and see if it measures the same. And I've done that on 2 different surfaces and it measures the same both ways. So I have confidence that the level itself is accurate. So anyway, that's in case anybody had a question about me checking that. I've taken the 3-jaw chuck off and now I'm getting ready to install this Morse taper adapter. All right, so this will allow us to mount the test rod. All right, so that's mounted there between centers with a little bit of tension, but there's no looseness. So I'm getting about 2/1000 across the, I don't know, 8 inches or 10 inches that I can traverse here. Yeah, about 2,000, between 2 and 3/1000 difference over the length that I can traverse here, which is, I don't know, 8 inches. Okay, so is that worth changing? Trying to make an adjustment for 2/1000. Let's see how involved the procedure is to make an adjustment. All right, so it looks like adjusting the tailstock is pretty straightforward. Loosen these 2 screws, I believe. And then all right, that's going the other direction. All right, there's a set screw here on the front, and there's one on the back. So I'm going to, there we go, that works. Tightening the one on the back. That moved stock just a couple thousandths. Let's see what that does here. That's on 1 on the scale, down here it's on half. So that's 1/2 variation now. So I got it from 3, 2.5 or 3 down to half. I'm going to lock it in right there. Let's hope it doesn't change in the process. All right, so that was easier than I thought it was going to be. Okay, that's about 1/2 over the travel. I'm going to call that good. So that concludes the initial setup of the lathe. We've leveled it. We've aligned the chuck and aligned the tailstock. So I think we're ready to make some chips. Yeah. There's virtually 0 run out. Maybe a 10. Depending on, you know, how accurate this indicator is, it's not really measuring any. Okay, well, that's what I was expecting to see, or hoping to see. Close to 0. All right, so let's get the chuck mounted on here again. Let me find my mark. I made a little mark with the magic marker for one of the studs. So hopefully get it back in the same location. So here's the blue mark, there's the blue mark. Sorry about that, getting in the way, but I would hate to have to manhandle a chuck bigger than this. Alright, so let's see how repeatable our chuck alignment is. That's pretty darn close. Whoops, I hit it with my hand. So that's half a thou or less, depending on the resolution of this indicator. All right, so let's chuck up a little piece of round stock here. This is, pretty sure this is 4140. All right, so the cutting speed is for carbide is really high, like 400 or 500 feet per minute, or even higher. I'm going to run this start with 200, which makes this about 700 RPM as the speed. So that's H4. H4, that's where I am. We'll set the feed rate D, I, W. Okay. All right, contact. Backwards. Twenty thousandths depth of cut. All right, so I went 40 thousandths in total. So we'll do another 20 thousandths using the DRO here. I'm going to slow my feed rate way down till I get used to this machine. I'm going to slow it down. That's a better finish. Let's take 30 thousandths at that speed. Now that's a really nice finish on there. That's very smooth. Workpiece is getting hot, but so 30 thousandths we are at 980 RPM. All right, so that's much better finish. And the tool is breaking the chip pretty well. I'm not getting too many long stringy chips. Of course, chips everywhere. All right, I got to clean up the chips. All right, folks, that's it for this second episode in the two-part series on setting up my lathe. I'm happy with it so far. There's one issue with the DRO that Precision Matthews is working on. It has to do with setting the direction of the x-axis movement, positive or negative. It won't let you change that. It does let you change the z-axis. I don't know whether it's something wrong with the DRO, but they're working on it. They've opened a case for it. Everything else seems to be fine. Those of you who are machinists, work with these machines all the time, let me know if the errors that I achieved on run out and alignment, make sense. Are they reasonable? I don't have a basis to make a judgment for that, so I'd be interested in your thoughts. We'll come back using the lathe on future projects. I'm going to spend some time working with it, getting more familiar with the controls. It is all pretty new to me, so got to spend some time with it. So, all right, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.